Hi, I'm Rizza Epong from BPED EP23, and for today's video, we are going to talk about cheerdance or cheerleading.
Cheerdance is relatively new in the field of sports and dance as it has only emerged during the early 1990s as part of the cheerleading event. It is one of the categories in international cheerleading competition that mainly focuses on the dance techniques and basic elements of cheerleading, excluding stunts and advanced gymnastic skills. Its origin can be traced as far as back as the late 19th century, where in 1860s, students from Great Britain began to cheer and chant in unison for their favorite athletes at sporting events. These events eventually reached and influenced America. During the late 1880s, the first organized recorded Yell Donion locomotive style was performed in an American campus and was first seen and heard during a college football game. All-male cheerleading only transpired when Thomas Peebles, one of the graduates of Princeton University, brought the yell and the football sport to the University of Minnesota in the year 1884. Through Johnny Campbell, who was a student of the University of Minnesota, that cheerleading officially began in November 2 during the year 1898. Cheerleading for the first 25 years was an all-male activity. It was only during the 1920s when women cheerleaders participated in cheerleading, and a lot had happened then in the world of cheerleading in America. Here are some fun facts for you to know. Country music star Lila McCann performed cheerleading routines for the Queen of England. George W. Bush, Dwight Eisenhower, and Franklin Roosevelt were all cheerleaders back then. The cheerleading capital of the United States is considered to be Texas. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders were the first organized squad in the NFL. Texas is also where a mother was accused in 1991 of hiring a hitman to kill her daughter's rival in cheerleading competition. 80% of schools in the United States have cheerleading squads. The most popular sport for cheerleading is football.
Before cheerleading, we must always remember that cheerleading is one of the most dangerous sports in the world. So, safety precautions is a very necessary thing. Now, here are reminders that should be considered. Number 1 is find a safe place to practice because most of the injuries happen during the practice.
Find a facility with floors that can absorb impact well, like spring floors or a 4-inch thick landing mats on top of foam floors.
Number 2 is find a qualified coach.
Before you enroll in any cheerleading program, whether through school or club, make sure the coach or program director is qualified. Cheerleading coaches should be certified by the American Association of Cheerleading Coaches and Administrators or similar organization.
3 is before you practice or compete.
Start getting in shape a few months before cheerleading season begins. Consider enrolling in a gymnastic program or taking gymnastic lessons. Always warm up before any cheerleading practice or competitions. Make sure you have properly fitting rubber-soled shoes with adequate cushioning and support. Now, while competing or practicing, when learning stunts, take the time to perfect lower level and less complicated skills before moving on to more difficult ones. During practices, anytime you attempt a stunt or maneuver that is difficult or dangerous, have a coach or teammate spotting you and ready to catch you in case you fall. Be sure a coach is on hand to supervise all practices and competitions. During competitions and performances, don't attempt a stunt that you and your teammates haven't worked on over and over again in practice. If you feel any pain or discomfort while practicing or competing, let your coach know right away. Playing through an injury is especially dangerous when it's a head injury.
And a few more reminders, there's a lot of pressure in staying thin in cheerleading. So the sport carries a lot of risk in eating disorder. So if you notice a teammate that is struggling from eating disorder, immediately report this to your coach or to a parent. Because the best way to fight eating disorder is to catch them early and prevent it. Your coach or someone who is always present during your competitions and practices should know how to do CPR. Likewise, for the first aid, it should be always be available whenever you are competing or practicing.